So what's up, world? This is August C. Jones here, and I am here with another edition of the Take One Podcast, episode 71. And yeah, so we're gonna get right into it because I have just a few things to talk about. I'm gonna go over the box office, what dominated and everything else. And then a new trailer dropped, as well as some new news about the MCU, or the kind of connective MCU property and stuff of that nature. But yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and jump right up into this stuff. So I'm gonna start out with the first trailer that dropped, which was the first trailer to Andy Serkis's Jungle Book movie. Not the one to be mistaken with the one that came out a couple years ago. I think in 2016, the Disney one or whatever. This is a new kind of look at the Jungle Book, and it's supposed to be a bit darker. And it's, I believe it's produced by Andy Serkis. I don't know if he's actually in there or whatever, but we heard stories about this is supposed to be coming out around the same time that the Jungle Book was supposed to be coming out. And so I guess they ended up pushing it back because they didn't want it to have, like, basically, how we had in the past, a Deep Impact and Armageddon. And, we had some similar movies come out that's not the exact same. I think the most recent one, what was it? I think it was White House Down, and then London Has Fallen. We have movies like that, but this is basically the same story, just reimagined in different, type of in two different type of brains, I guess you could say. But so instead of calling it the Jungle Book, he just ended up calling it Mowgli, and that's basically what it's about. So the trailer in itself is it really is about Mowgli. And it looked like it's doing something just a tad bit different. It's not going to be as, I ain't going to say whimsical, as kind of lighthearted as the Disney version of it was, but it's a bit darker. And am I mistaken? Like, this little kid, like, he looks like Sophia Boutella. Is he related? I have to look up his name, but he looks like Sophia Boutella. I don't know. Maybe I'm just the only one, but just in the trailer itself, the trailer looks awesome. I didn't know they didn't do the same thing that Disney did, where the whole thing was CG except for Mowgli or whatever. But they did it more realistic, and then the animals were CG, of course, and it looks pretty damn good. It looks like it's a bit darker. I don't know if they're going completely dark, but it looks like it's a bit darker. It's going to have more of a adult. Not adult type thing, but it looked like it's going to be a little bit too darker for like certain kids to watch. But it looks awesome. Like, the CG looks great. It looks like the cinematography in it is, shown in the trailer looks great. The action and everything in the trailer this show look like it's going to be action packed. It's going to revolve more about Mowgli and him in the, the man village, as they would call it or whatnot. But it looks pretty damn good. I don't know how the kid is going to do up in the lead role. I don't know if he's been in any other movies or whatever, and how he does with lead roles and how he's going to carry this movie. But it looks pretty damn good. It looks like a movie that they worked, like, they worked their ass off. Now, I'm not one of those people that look at it like, oh, they're just trying to be Jungle Book. I ain't going to watch that. Because I'm a movie guy, I like to watch movies. I like to go to the movie theater or whatever and watch a movie. And this movie, like a movie that I will be checking out. This trailer was really good. It doesn't say too much about like what the movie is actually about. I mean, you probably can guess through certain parts or whatever, but this was just a good first trailer. It got me on board. It wasn't anything like a teaser or anything like that, but it looks pretty good. Pretty good. I am looking forward to seeing this, and I hope you guys are too, because this is like, I ain't gonna say that it might be better than the other one. It may be. It has the possibility of being better than the other Jungle Book put out by Disney, which they have said I believe they are coming out with a part 2 of that. But yeah, they're coming out with this movie. I forgot when they said it was going to drop, but it's dropping this year, and I just can't wait to see it. But let's go ahead and get off of trailer reviews, and let's jump into movie news. Now, I have one piece of news that just dropped, that Jake Gyllenhaal is cast to be Mysterio in the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, we haven't got a definitive name for Spider-Man Homecoming. We know it's not going to be called Spider-Man Homecoming 2, because that would be just ridiculous. I mean, they could have another Homecoming, but it really, it played, like, the Homecoming dance played a small part in the movie as far as even noticeable, as it being even noticeable, whatever. And it more than like, it had like a double meaning. It was about a homecoming, him getting ready and stuff for homecoming, but like I said, it played this minor role in the movie. And then on top of that, Spider-Man Homecoming, he's coming home. I mean, he's not completely under the Disney umbrella, like Sony still owns the movie rights to him, but still, it's like he's coming home, So it had a double meaning to it, but we don't know the name of it. They haven't come out with the name of it, but Jake Gyllenhaal is cast to be Mysterio for the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. And I don't really have too much to say about that. As far as Jake Gyllenhaal, he is a great actor. I did love some of the movies that he were in. And as far as Mysterio, I don't know too much about the character. I've seen him in the Spider-Man cartoon that came on in the 90s or whatever. That was one of my favorite shows growing up. But, Mysterio was one of those characters where I really didn't care too much for. It was the characters that really just stuck out of my mind then was like Rhino, Venom, Carnage, and stuff like that. But it wasn't anything Mysterio. I really didn't care for him. The design for him, it really didn't pop out to me then, and it still doesn't now. So, but, I mean, if he can pull it off, I mean, more than likely he will. But if he can do it to where it's like, he makes it a great villain, then I'm all aboard. I don't know too much, like I said, about Mysterio, so I can't really say that, like, oh my god, he's a perfect fit, and I can imagine him playing him. Like, I just can't, I really don't care too much for the villain. Now, if I get on the YouTubes and I end up finding out a lot about Mysterio, he probably might spark my interest, but like I said, the design of him and me not really knowing too much about him, it's whatever. But it has been put out that Michael Keaton is coming back as Falcon. More than likely, it seems like they're not abandoning their thoughts and their ideas for a Sinister Six movie. If you've seen Spider-Man Homecoming, one of the end credit scenes of it is that like Michael Keaton, I mean, if you haven't seen it, then this will be a spoiler for you. But at one of the end credit scenes, he runs into a guy while he got locked away in jail, and so the guy comes to him to basically try and take out Spider-Man, and Michael Keaton's character just walks away uninterested. Now it seems like they're trying to create a Sinister Six with that end credit scene of the guy who approached him, which is, I think they said it was supposed to be Scorpion, one of Spider-Man's other villains that I don't know too much about, but came to him with that. And then with Falcon being in this movie, it's like, what role? I mean, we already know what role he plays as far as whatever, but what role will he play within the storyline? In the movie, like, what is he gonna do? Is Spider-Man gonna have to come to him for help? Is he gonna break out or something like that? The only thing that I just don't want to be about this movie is just, I don't want it to be a setup for a third film. I don't want it to be like, okay, well, after this, we have plans to do a Sinister Six, so we're going to have to plant 50 seeds up in here just to, do it. And then the Venom movie, if it's connected, we're going to have, I'm not entirely sure. I believe that Carnage is the villain for Venom, but if he is, I don't want them to be like, okay, Venom is going to be part of the Sinister Six, and then we're going to have Scorpion, Falcon, and then Mysterio, and all that. It's just, no, just make it one complete movie. If you have to plant some seeds, do it. But don't make it be what this movie is all about, an advertisement for the next film. Don't do that. But yeah, Michael Keaton is coming back. We don't know what his particular role is going to be. And of course, Tom Holland is coming back as Spider-Man for this film. And it is set to drop, July 5th, 2019. And it's following the events of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4. So that's what we have to look forward to. But like I said, Jake Gyllenhaal playing Mysterio, I don't know what to think about it right now. I can't picture him in the role, only because I don't know too much about Mysterio, what's his real name, powers, or anything like that. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they have what they have planned or what they have in store for us when it comes to Spider-Man, the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. So But in any case, let's go ahead and jump right into the box office segment. It's not too much stuff I had to talk to today. I'm going to try and drop another podcast later on this week to talk about some more stuff, because there are going to be a lot more stuff dropping in the movie, TV, whatever. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the box office. So basically, what was my predictions? My predictions last week was that Deadpool 2 was going to take the number 1 spot. Avengers was going to take number 2. Number 3 was Life of the Party. And then number 4, Book Club. And number 5, Breaking In. So I was kind of wrong on that. But Deadpool 2 did take the number 1 spot, though, with the weekend bringing $125 million. Plus the foreign cash brought its world total to $300 million, which is not bad. Not bad at all. The movie was great. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Number 2 was Avengers Infinity War, which I kind of predict that it wasn't going to, that Deadpool wasn't going to take the number 2 spot. So Deadpool came in at number 2, with the weekend bringing $29 million, which is significantly low. Like, I thought that it was going to at least be in the 40s or 30s or something, but 29 mil, I don't know. I'm kind of like thinking that it's maybe not going to catch up to Avatar. I don't know. We'll see. But the its domestic total comes to $595 million, which brings its world total to $1.8 billion. So now it has beat Jurassic World. So it's at the number 4 spot now instead of number 5. And so Book Club came in over the weekend with $13.5 million. Life of the Party came in at number 4, bringing in $7 million over the weekend. Domestic is at $30 million, which brings its world total to $36 million. And then we have Breaking In with the number 5 spot this weekend, pulling in $6.8 million. Its domestic is $29 million, which brings its world to $30 million. So, yeah, as far as that go, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I was kind of wrong. I thought Life of the Party was going to outbeat, Book Club, but it didn't. But I mean, everything else was pretty decent. Number 5 was what I said it was going to be, and number 2 and number 1 was what I said it was going to be. And Show Dogs didn't even make the number 5. I don't even think I put it up in my thing or whatever. Yeah, I didn't even put it up in there. I didn't think, because of just the marketing. Some movies you can tell. Some movies you can be like, it doesn't seem like that big of a, whatever. So you can kind of tell that it's not going to be in the top 5. Sometimes you can't. I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying sometimes. You can, I guess you could say, you can tell or make a highly, educated guess that it won't be in the top 5. But Show Dogs, it did come in at number 6, though. Over the weekend, did $6 million, which brings its world total to $6.7 million, which I don't think that was what they were aiming for. But what stands out to me in the box office, the Avengers. I did mention before, like, it's significantly low. I think last weekend, what did it have last weekend? It had $61 million over the weekend. $61 million. And it basically went from 68 million, 61 million. I don't know where I'm getting 68 from, but it did 61 million last weekend. And then the weekend before and just this past weekend, it did 29 million. I could say Deadpool really did a number, really significant number, because going from 61 to 29 million, that was I ain't gonna say unseen, but that was basically what happened. Is Deadpool took that number. Deadpool took the numbers from Avengers Infinity War, from the repeat viewings or whatever, and more than likely it was because of word of mouth, because I seen Deadpool too. I can highly recommend it, especially if you were a big fan of the first Deadpool, or if you thought that the first Deadpool was okay. You're gonna love this film. Deadpool 2 was amazing. And so that's where the money went. That's where their money went. They took about $10 to $15 to $20 million away from Avengers this past weekend. and that's where it went. So I'm just looking at it. This coming weekend we have Solo coming out. So more than likely, Avengers is going to drop a little bit more, and by a little bit, probably another 10 million. We're probably going to see Avengers Infinity War at 11 million or 10 million, probably even just a little bit less than that. Like, man, Avengers did good with basically coming out at the time that they did. It was kind of 50-50 because you had some of the smaller movies come out beforehand, and then you didn't have, I think for a couple weeks or 3 weeks, you didn't have another movie coming out, and then you had Deadpool too. So we had like a little breathing room to collect as much money as it needed to. But when you're putting it up against big high blockbusters that are capturing the same people, you know, the same like type of interests or whatever that Deadpool 2 would have and that Solo would have, you're going to run into trouble. And this is the first weekend that Avengers has ran into trouble. And I don't know. I could see if Deadpool wasn't that good, you know, if it was okay, it wasn't better than the first one, then I could say maybe, you know, when it comes to this next weekend, it probably might end up going to number 3 and, you know, Avengers going to stay at number 2. But, nah, I don't think this is going to happen. So, it runs into trouble. And then, this weekend is going to go down to the number 3 spot. It really is. I'm going to get into that. But that's everything that really stood out to me. Book Club did better than what I thought. I didn't think it was a big audience for a movie like that. But you put, 50 Shades of Grey. And, you know, you have an audience for that. And older women. You know, they're like, oh my gosh, my life did change, you know, after reading that book and watching the movies. Let me go see it. You know, I don't know. It has an audience, so I can't even knock it. I haven't seen it. I don't know if I'm going to go see it. I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up and see how it, you know, is and look at other reviews. But that's a movie that I really didn't care for because it's about a movie franchise and a book franchise that I really don't care for. And so it's like seeing people affected by it or fictional characters affected by the book and the movies or whatever, I really don't care for it. I don't know. I may change my mind to go see it if I, you know, just want to go to the show or stuff, but I don't know. Right now I'm on the fence about it, but yeah, that's really all I gotta say about that, about this past weekend's box office. So talking about the movies that are coming out this week, which is only one big significant movie that is coming out this week, which is Solo, a Star Wars story. And yeah, I cannot wait to see this movie. I cannot wait to see it. This is one of those big movies that, you know, it's crazy. This movie has gone through a lot. Like, they basically went at this film, had 2 directors on it before, Lord and Miller, who basically turned it into a kind of like a comedy type film. More comedy than what, you know, they would have wanted. And in seeing that, Lucasfilm dropped Lord and Miller, had to bring in Ron Howard to basically redo everything that they did wrong or that they didn't want for the film. It was a creative differences, and it was hell. You know, it was hell that they had to, you know, reshoot a lot of it, rewrite a lot of it, and it was so much redone to it that Ron Howard's name is in the directing credits. Because a lot of times when you get a kind of like a situation like Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon with the whole Justice League and everything that happened last year, with Zack Snyder being taken off the project due to the death of his daughter, and then you bring Joss Whedon in. It's like Joss Whedon did a lot to that movie, but all he did was add to it, not enough to where it was he could have his name on the directing credits. So Zack Snyder's name still went on the director's credits, though Joss Whedon still was credited for like the story and I guess writing the script as well, since he did a lot of rewriting for it and everything else. But I mean, this movie just went through hell as far as being developed, and it was way more deeper than what the Justice League one was. And we all know how Justice League turned out. It was, to me, I love the film, but I honestly can say that if I could go back in time and change them to push it to this year, maybe a little bit later to like February or March, that way they can do a little bit more on it, do it. But I mean, whatever. I thought it could have been way better. But this movie went through a whole lot. Had another director come in, a lot of rewrites, reshooting, and all that. But the trailers have caught me. The trailers make it look so good. It look like it has great cinematography, like it's shot well. It look like it has some good humor, some great action in it. Amelia Clark, she is sexy, so she's in it. Man, it looks like it's going to be good. And I've heard some of the reviews for it already, and I've heard that reviewers are basically saying that it is a great movie. So I have no problem with that. No problem with that at all. And so I am looking forward to that. So let me go ahead and get into the predictions, and then we're going to wrap this up. This is a short episode, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. So this coming weekend, I believe that Solo: A Star Wars Story is going to take the #1 spot for the simple fact that the pre-sale tickets have already done better than what Black Panther did, and we all know what Black Panther did. So for it to basically outsell Black Panther in pre-sales, you know it's going to do good the first weekend. You know it's going to do good. So Solo: A Star Wars Story is going to be at #1. Deadpool 2 is going to drop to #2. Avengers Infinity War is going to be at #3. Book Club #4, and Life of the Party is going to be #5. So basically, it's just everything is going to get pushed down. And that's how it's going to be. I don't think Avengers is going to get back up and spike back up. Like I said, it may have done that if Deadpool wasn't even as good as the first film. But that movie, to me, with me not being really a big fan of the first film, this was better than the first film. Deadpool 2 was better than the first film. So yeah, there you got it. So just to recap over it, my weekend prediction is going to be Solo #1, Deadpool 2 #2, Avengers Infinity War #3, Book Club #4, and #5 is Life of the Party. And I'm just looking at this pattern. Okay, tell me, I just noticed this as I'm doing this. So you have it #1. What's going to be #1 this weekend? Solo: A Star Wars Story. Solo, A Star Wars Story, which meaning 1 is going to be at #1. #2, Deadpool 2, sequel to the first Deadpool. And then you have the third Avengers movie, Avengers Infinity War, as #3. And I guess if you want to get wild with it, you can say #4 has 4 main characters in it, because it's 4 women that's affected by the 50 Shades of Grey movie. Or is it 5? I maybe could be wrong. I think it's 5. Oh well, if it's 4, then it's cool, But if it's 5, then just disregard Book Club. But I just noticed that Solo #1, Deadpool 2 #2, the third Avengers movie, Avengers Infinity War, is at #3. So I don't know. Okay, whatever. Just forget that I said that. But I just wanted to point that out because I just saw that pattern as I'm doing this. Not even before, but just literally right off the spot. But in any case, that wraps up this episode of the Take One Podcast. Thank you guys for joining me. And catch me on the next one, episode 72. And I will catch you guys on that one. Peace out. So hey, before you guys leave this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and give this video a like, because it will really help me out. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And you see that little bell? That's a notification. Turn that on. That way you'll be notified for anything that drops on my channel. And if you look down in the description below, you will see all the links to my social media. So go ahead and follow me on those if you haven't already. As well as there are links to my other content that's on the channel, from movie reviews to podcasts to so much more. And I hope to see you guys here again next time. So thanks and peace out.